to the box score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Ferry. And Murph, we're past the halfway point of the 2023 regular season.
It's hard to believe it's already at that point in time, but it is. We're on the verge of October, probably already there, I guess, when this gets aired. But nonetheless, it seems to go faster every year.
It definitely does. And of course, a lot of teams have 5 games in the week.
Right.
In the month of September, we've had some hotter weather. There's some hotter weather, I guess hotter than normal. But, on Friday nights, I don't know if you could ask for any picture-perfect better weather for fall football than we've had the last few weeks.
Yeah, the last 2 or 3 weeks in particular have just been outstanding. No need for a jacket yet, but no need for an air conditioner close by either.
We want to thank Carthy's Safeway, sponsoring the title sponsor for the box score. Let's go ahead and look at some stats. We'll start out with community at Cannon County. And Cannon County explodes for 67 points. Murphy, I don't know that I remember the Lions ever scoring that many points and only had 367 yards. You would have thought that would have been 500 or 600 by scoring that many. But when you get a couple of fumble returns for touchdowns and, that helps the situation for sure.
Yeah, I think all 3 of those community fumbles resulted in touchdowns for the Lions, and 60 of those 67 points were in the first half alone. So a big night, homecoming, couldn't have come at a better time, and hopefully that'll let the Lions build some momentum as they get ready for a couple more really important regional games in the next month.
When you look, Murphy, at the stats, 367 to 358, most of the time, and only one difference in the turnover, that means a close game.
Sure.
But that wasn't the case in Woodbury on Friday night.
No, I don't know. Everything just kind of came together. It wasn't a full moon or anything like that, but everything that Cannon County did, they did well. And community's been struggling a little bit this year, having a hard time to find that first win. And I know their son, the Coach Grooms, his son has been the quarterback of that team the last 3, if not the last 4 years, but he's graduated. And, when you have to put a new quarterback in, sometimes it doesn't always work the way you'd like.
Let's go ahead and look at our stats, individual stats. Tucker Kine, a 33-yard touchdown reception, but then he had a 25-yard fumble recovery for a TD. Isaiah Odom, 29 rushes, 63 yards, reception as well, and then 38 yards on the fumble recovery for a touchdown. Kobe Miller, 3 for 4, 138 yards. And when you average over 40 yards, I guess right at 45 yards per pass play, Murph, I don't know that you're going to beat that average much.
I guess fans had an indication that things were going to go well. That fumble recovery for a touchdown by Tucker Kine came in the first 30 seconds of the ball game, and it just went downhill from there on out for visiting Community High School.
Of course, a couple of touchdowns for Miller throwing it. He also rushed for 58 yards and another touchdown. He was very efficient. When you look for Community High School, Niles Barnett, 27 of 37, 244 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Mackey Fleming, 9 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown. But like you said, Murphy, they've still got, I think, Cascade maybe, and Marion County left in region play. They've got to come up with at least one win to have a chance.
I think if they're going to get one, it's going to come against Cascade. Marion County is awfully strong again this year. I don't think they've lost a game yet either, and that one will be in Jasper. So they better prepare for a big win over Cascade, a team that has come from behind in previous years to beat the Lions. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. Watertown
and Lebanon meet on the field, homecoming for Lebanon, and first time I think in 59 years that these two teams have met. Lebanon gets the big win. Kason Kincaid, 15 to 24, 225 yards, 3 touchdowns. TJ Searcy, 3 receptions for 69 yards and a score. Adam Cooper leads the way for Watertown, 6 rushes for 50 yards and 1 reception for 14 yards. I know this is a 3A playing against a 6A, but a lot of people was anxious for these clubs to get together.
You said how many years? How many?
59, I think.
That's probably when Bill's dad, Brownie Robinson, was coaching at Watertown.
That is correct. And Bill played, I think, on that team. So, you know, that's pretty special.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's one of those backyard brawls, if you will. And Watertown is growing by leaps and bounds over there. It's evidenced by their being in 3A. It hadn't been all that long since they were a 1A football team. So it was kind of a natural, and that's going to, I think, develop into a pretty good rivalry.
Looking at the Gordonsville score, they win at 23-7. Jay Foster leads the way, 8 of 11 in the air, 1 interception, a couple of touchdowns, 152 yards. Kanan Musgrove is back after being out injured. He had 29 rushes, 133 yards. Receiving, Dalton Hancock, 4 catches, 109 yards, 1 touchdown. I think Gentry is out for them for the year, which will really hurt them. Monterey was led by Jalen Rigdon. He had 15 carries, 55 yards. Colin Fowler had 12 carries for 48 yards. That was a huge win for Gordonsville to go to Monterey, a team that had gotten some quality wins so far, and get the win.
Absolutely, and the quarterbacks coming out of Smith County, the Martin kid at Smith County and Foster at Gordonsville, for them to just be a freshman and a sophomore, they just keep getting better and better, and it's going to be a lot of fun just watching those two teams play the next 3 years. Smith
County and East Robertson, of course, we mentioned that game earlier. Key Harris, a big game for him. He had 8 receptions for 83 yards. He really shut down their star D1 Groves kid at receiver. He had a pick and did not allow a catch to him. Clayton Rigsby, just a very, very athletic play defensively to get the Owls the ball to 4-yard line. The Owls then missed a field goal, and they missed 3 all night. He had 2 receptions for 36 yards. I think that was his first career touchdown. Peyton Hicks, 7 receptions for 39 yards. Had the interception that sealed it, but 20 tackles for Hicks on the night. 10 solo tackles, 10 assists. That's a huge night.
No doubt, he was a busy young man on both sides of the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you what, Matt Dyer just continues to impress me as one of the really up-and-coming young coaches. I hate to put any pressure on his shoulders, but I think he can handle that. But Matt really knows how to get the most out of his players. He's got those kids believing in their coach as much as he believes in his players, and those are important qualities to have on a successful football team.
DeKalb County at Stone Memorial, and when you look, DeKalb did attempt a field goal there at the end to tie it, but Stone gets the win 27-24. And DeKalb and Coach Trapper kind of got their backs against the wall now and trying to make the playoff. Briz Trapp had a running touchdown, a passing touchdown. Malachi Trapp, who we thought was going to be out for the season, comes back and gets a touchdown reception, so no doubt he got a second opinion. Murphy, Ryan Lyons, kickoff return for a touchdown. Of course, Malachi was hurt in that first game, Murphy, but he comes back. Nick Osborne, 13 of 23 for 188 yards, passing, 2 touchdowns, 75 yards rushing, and another score. But the Panthers get a big win.
I think you hit the nail squarely on the head. Both of those teams desperately need to secure some really big wins in the last month of the season. I'm not real sure that both of those teams are going to be in the playoffs.
You know, when you look at 7 teams, it means 3 doesn't go. And unfortunately, in one of the tougher regions in the state of Tennessee, in Region 4-4A, that is the case because you've got other regions that only have 4 and 5 members, Murphy, and it makes it considerably easy to make the playoffs.
In a situation like that, you can afford to lose a couple of regional games, but not when there's 7 teams. Every one counts as much as the others.
We'll look at the region scores when we return to the box score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Buchanan County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old borrowed trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for Chief Geologist, General Mine Foreman, Mine Engineer, Graduate Mining Engineer, Electrical Superintendent, Mobile Superintendent, Mine Supervisor, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Justin Malden doing a great job as always. I'm Terry Collins and Murphy Fair, my sidekick. We're going to go through some scores. We thank Sonic for doing that for us every week. It's always fun to look at the scores and talk about them. Red Boiling Springs gets a big win. I think they went to Linden, if I remember right, and won 42-21 over Perry County. Cheatham County beats Joe Burns. Clay County plays against a northern rival in Monroe County, Kentucky, out of Tompkinsville, and beats them 34-20. And then Gordonsville, as we talked about earlier, goes on the mountain and gets a 23-7 win.
Terry, is that the third win for Red Boiling this year, I think,
right,
already? And there have been years that they didn't have 3 wins in the entire season. With the quarterback being the coach's son up there, they're having a big time this year, and kudos for that program turning around.
Definitely is. Link is an outstanding athlete for them, not only on the football field, but the basketball floor as well, and he probably plays baseball as well. Let's go ahead and look at some more Sonic Carthage scores. A little bit surprised on that first score there, Liberty Creek beating Westmoreland that bad. I thought that would be a closer game, but Westmoreland has struggled this year, 42-14. Liberty Creek gets the win.
Well, it's a 2A school, and most 2A schools, regardless of how big football is on that campus, you don't have a lot of depth, and Westmoreland has had some great football teams the last few years, and that cycle has caught up with them, and like you said, they've kind of struggled a bit this year.
Trouser County gets the big win over Jackson County. That is a Region 3 2A game, so that'll help Trouser County trying to secure a playoff berth. In fact, that win probably did it. Smith County gets the big win in Cross Plains against East Robertson, and Gordonsville over Monterey. Let's go ahead and look at the Region 4 2A scores. Sonic of Carthage bringing you those. Marion County beats Brainerd 30-12. Marion County Murph 6-0 now.
That game was really close at halftime. I want to say it was a touchdown or less in the first 2 quarters, but Marion County is going to be, if there is a major hurdle for the Owls once they get into the playoffs, it's probably going to be Marion County, or as you said earlier, a second meeting with East Robertson.
When you look at Marion County and East Robertson in that second round, Murph, that's going to be 2 very quality teams that are going to get put out when it goes from 16 teams to 8 teams in Class 2A.
Absolutely, and I'm not sure who that second team out of Marion County's region would be. Would that? No, I was starting to say
probably.
Yeah, that's
Cascade
true.
beat Forrest this week, so it's probably going to be Cascade.
And this is the first time that I can remember Marion County being in a region with mostly mid-state teams instead of Chattanooga or Valley teams. They're gonna be seeing some new opposition once the postseason rolls around.
Marshall County beats Fayetteville. I think Fayetteville's only win is over Cannon County.
Correct.
And then Cannon County beats Community by 67-28 score. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores from Region 4 3A. Sonic of Carthage scores. Giles County beats Lincoln County 45-18. Of course, Giles County coming to Watertown this week. Watertown coming off the loss to Lebanon. and we'll talk about this in a minute, but Giles County, the Bobcats, seem to be claiming their stake to being the best team in Region 4-3A.
That's kind of like the Smith County-Livingston game when Coach Brainerd was in Carthage for that one, because the coach at Giles County grew up in Lincoln County, played football at Lincoln County, and that's one that Coach O'Connor really wants to win every year.
Sale Creek, I thought they may win. I thought that game would be a little bit closer. Grundy has showed improvement this year, but Sale Creek gets the 37-6 win, Murph.
I saw Grundy County play Providence Christian at MTSU a couple of Fridays ago, and they've got a decent-looking team, but they just don't look real organized and didn't seem to have a lot of emotion about them. They were up, I think, 14-7 at the half and lost 21-14 or something like that, but things just kind of turned around for Grundy, and they're having a hard time getting back on solid ground, it looks like to me.
The Indians of Sequatchie County, a big win, 31-14 over Coalfield. Of course, Lebanon over Watertown, Cannon over Community.
I was going to say that Sequatchie win, especially as big as it was, may be the wake-up call Coalfield needed, because they had not lost until that game, and Sequatchie put it on them pretty good. So I don't know if that means that Coalfield had a letdown or Sequatchie finally got it all put together, but that score surprised me a great deal.
Region 4-4A, you've got Macon County, a big win over White County to remain. They've got the one loss to Upperman, but to remain in a chase for a home field game.
Sure.
For the Tigers. Upperman big over Cumberland County. York beats Livingston. Stone over DeKalb that we've already talked about. Other scores of interest: Macaulay beats the NBA 35-0. I don't know that I ever remember when those two teams met having that large of a difference.
Yeah.
And most of the time it's NBA winning it though.
Well, I still got an issue with Macaulay with their dormitory full of football players from another country, Canada. They've got, I think they had 11 Canadian players on their team last year, and I don't know, TSSAA needs to do something about that.
Beach gets a big win over Hendersonville, Mount Juliet over Wilson Central, and then Centennial, a little bit of surprise, but they beat Knowlesville.
I think Centennial is still unbeaten. They got the coach who was at East Nashville last year, and he's doing a terrific job over there.
Yes, he put East Nashville. Jamal Stewart, he put East Nashville in the state championship game against Alcoa 2 or 3 years in a row. Let's go ahead and look at some games that are coming up. Forrest at Gordonsville. That's a 2A, I guess, going to Gordonsville. Homecoming this week for the Tigers, and Joe Burns at Clay County.
Yeah, a couple of, like you said, these games being out of regional play, so to speak. I think Forrest has an opportunity to give Gordonsville a pretty good ball game, but I think the Tigers of Gordonsville will come away a winner. And Clay County now starting to play like the team that we saw last year. They've got a good chance, I think, of going back to the Blue Cross Bowl, and Joe Burns with a new coach doing a little bit of rebuilding, and Clay County ought to win that one handily.
If Clay County wins that game and they get the win over Red Boiling, then they would be at least a number 2 seed. Of course, then play Gordonsville in the final game of the year for the Region 4 1A championship. Right. Region 3-2A, Upperman at Smith County. Of course, Upperman's 4A, Smith County's 2. Last year when Smith went to Upperman in preseason scrimmage, and I know it was just that, a very physical game that Smith County won that scrimmage, and Coach Adam Kane said, hey, it was kind of a wake-up call for us to, hey, we've got to play more physical football. And uncharacteristically, Upperman Giles, maybe first or second round of the playoffs, but they usually make a deep run, and I think they're in position to do that again, especially after their win over Macon County.
Coach Kane went to school at Macaulay. He was an interior lineman, and he knows what that smash mouth football is all about. Coach Pete Potter, who's Ralph's dad, was the coach when he was there, and so he knows what physical football is all about, and the Owls will probably face their most physical team of the season this week.
A very talented B squad. Pickett County at Jackson County, East Robertson at Westmoreland, Cascade at Monterey, and then the open date Strauss County inside the region. Murphy, any of those games Cascade at Monterey, maybe a close one?
Probably not. Monterey's a much better football team, I think, and has played a little tougher schedule than has Cascade. East Robertson will eat Westmoreland alive after that loss to Smith County last week. And I think both of those will be pretty one-sided ball games.
You know, the one thing with that Cascade Monterey, that could be a preview of a playoff game with those two teams, at least like not right now, but you know that still could be a first-round matchup because Cascade, with their win over Forrest, could see Monterey in that first round.
Another disadvantage for Cascade. That's probably at least a 2-hour bus ride from Cascade to Monterey.
Let's go ahead and look at Region 4-2A, Cannon County at Gordonsville, Chattanooga-Tyner goes to Marion County, Sequatchie County at Fayetteville, Cascade at Monterey, and Forrest at Gordonsville.
We've talked about some of those. I don't think there'll be any surprise. Hopefully with the 67-point performance last week, Cannon County can get another one against Gordonsville and gives them the momentum they need maybe to knock off Cascade in a regional game, I think, the next week.
Region 4-3A, you've got Giles County at Watertown. That's their Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week here on DTC Sports. Community at Grundy and Sequatchie County at Fayetteville.
I'd be afraid to bet a nickel on that Community Grundy County game. That's going to be maybe not a real fun one to watch. I don't know.
Region 4-4A, Macon County at DeKalb, a huge region game there. Macon trying to stay in that number 2 spot, but DeKalb's back against the wall. Murphy, they need a win to try to get playoff eligible.
Coach Trapp, I've got a lot of respect for that guy, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit if DeKalb plays its best game of the season and maybe pulls off an upset. They'll have to play very well, and Macon will have to put the ball on the ground 2 or 3 times. But I think that game might be closer than a lot of people might think.
Livingston at Stone Memorial, Cumberland County at White County, and then Upperman at Smith County. Cumberland and White, we talked about it. That could be for a playoff spot. I mean, you never know, but Cumberland has struggled at times, but still, Murphy, that's a kind of a border war there.
If you need to be motivated, that's the kind of game your coach wants his team to have. It's a game that they've probably got a chance to win, although White County's doing very well under a first-year coach as well.
We'll have an interview with Smith County Athletic Director Nick Bussell when we return to the box score, presented to you by Carthage Safeway.
Community Wellness Clinic is a nurse practitioner-owned and operated full-service medical clinic. Our emphasis is on good health and wellness throughout every generation of your family. We strive to provide the expert quality of care that our patients deserve and expect. Along with primary care services, we also offer a full complement of urgent care services. Let us be your family's good health partner. Community Wellness Clinic in Woodbury. Phone 615-563-7515.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
If you're a commercial driver looking for a company to call home, Huff and Puff Trucking is the company for you. Our employees are professional and dedicated individuals that take pride in what they do. We offer an outstanding pay package with a dispatch structure that maximizes your home time. To learn more about a company that knows you by name and treats you like family, call us at 1-800-965-5033 or visit our website at huffpufftrucking.com.
And welcome back here to the box score. Terry Collins along with Murphy Fair, and we've been joined by Smith County High School Athletic Director Nick Bussell. And Nick, we do have a picture of you today, but you know, you got to be on Channel 30 on Friday night to kind of warm up for us today, right?
Yes, sir. It was a great time. We had our scholar athlete there early on, Ty Martin. He was our scholar athlete, and East Robertson did a great job of hosting. They were very hospitable to us, and it was just a great game. It's always fun to be on TV, you know, and the only thing I didn't like about it was the TV timeouts. You know, that slowed us down a little bit, but it was a great experience for our kids. We were excited about it.
Well, it really was. That the entire mid-state gets to watch that game on Friday nights on Channel 30, and I know it was a thrill for kids on both sides of the field. Any special thoughts from you in that regard?
Oh yeah, our kids, we tried to, keep them grounded. I know Coach Dyer was, like, hey, it's just another ball game, but they all knew what an impactful game, not just for the playoffs for us and in reach and play, sort of fighting for the top spot. But being on TV was pretty cool, and our community rallied behind us. We had a great crowd that night. The kids were excited about it. On the sideline, they were very excited, and it was just a great atmosphere. It made for a great game. I talked to a lot of the people from my TV 30 after the ball game, and they said, this is probably one of our better ball games in the last few years, just because it was a close game. It wasn't a blowout or anything like that. The community on both sides, rallied behind them, and it was just a great atmosphere for them.
Nick, you got to try to get Channel 30 to come cover more of your games, and the only reason I say that, the Owls are now 3-0 all time on Channel 30 games. Of course, the last time that Smith County played on Channel 30 was against White House back in 2011. They won that game 9-6. They beat White House in Carthage, the first ever game that my TV 30 covered. So being undefeated, that's a pretty good standing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think it's something in the future we're definitely going to, try to get, is to get more people out there to us and to see us. This Friday night, I've had a bunch of radio stations and social media things reach out. We got a good product on the field, that's for sure, and everybody wants to see it. So we're always open to it. I try to make as many things as we can happen, and people reach out to me, I reach out to people, so hopefully in the future we can get that happening.
Nick, at this time of year, football obviously drives the bus, but I know that's not the only concern you have with your title as athletics director. Tell us a little bit about what else is going on at this time of year and how those teams are doing.
Well, we got a lot of fall sports and everything. I'll probably start with the one that's most familiar to me is girls soccer. Right now they're 7-1-1, and we're 3, and we had one tie, and we start district play this week, finishing that up on district play. But we're doing really good. We went to the Smoky Mountains and won our division in that tournament. We've had some bumps in the roads with injuries. We don't have a lot of depth, but the girls have done a really good job with that. Volleyball is sitting at 13-7 and 3-5 at their district, but they have the potential of starting next week. They're playing in the district tournament. If they win that first game, I think that's the first time in 4 years, if they win that game, that they'll be in the district tournament and making it to the second round. So they've really progressed this year, and they've got better throughout the year as we're doing. Cross country, we always usually are pretty competitive with that. We graduated one of our, star runners was Matthew Sinclair last year that went on and all that to run at Bryan. But our cross country is doing really well. They're a young team, they're a young squad, so they're still trying to get their footing down. Golf, we have a boys team, and our boys team has moved on in our district tournament, but we have only one girl, Landon Kent, and she won her district, the district plaque this, I think it was last week, and won that individually, and so she's doing a really good job with that, so we're very proud of her, so I want to apologize for screwing up her name there. And I think that's about got us on sports in the fall. I think that's got us covered. So everybody's doing really good. Smith County has always had a rich tradition of athletics and doing very successful things with our athletics. So we take pride in that as being sort of the face of our school. So all of our fall sports are doing a really good job right now.
Nick, when you look at Smith County High School and the athletics, I think it doesn't hurt to have a former basketball coach, a former basketball player that played on a state tournament team back in 1989. And Scott Apple, it's now the principal. Not that principals that don't play sports give them as much attention, but I think with Scott being in the AD role before you and now being in the principal's position, you probably get more support than you would maybe at some schools.
Yes, you're exactly right. We're very blessed. Coach Apple, of course, was our athletic director, and I learned a lot from him. He was, I was blessed with the opportunity to be his assistant for a few years before I took this role. He has a high standard for athletics. As coaches, we usually meet ever so often throughout the year, and I always check with him on what his vision is. And he is very much a, student athlete. They're students first, they're athletes second, they're the face of our school. Smith County pride is very big for him. So it always helps to have someone who has the same vision and goals as your coach's athletic department has, especially with your principal being so involved with sports already. He has a strong vision for it, and it just, we sort of trickle that on down. And he's been a great supporter of our athletics for a very long time, and he shares a lot of the same visions. He has a high standard for us.
Nick, I've obviously been in a lot of high schools all across the state of Tennessee, and some of them are very, very athletic oriented, and some are very, very academic oriented. But there's room for two, and I find that the need for one is just about as strong as it is for the other as far as the school's concerned, because you know as well as I do, there are X number of athletes that if it wasn't for athletic activities, they probably wouldn't even be in school. So there's room for both of those things, and I think schools that primarily try to do as much for one side of that argument as the other generally do very well on both sides of that.
Yes, sir. You're exactly right. Every year we have a meeting at the beginning of the year, and I sort of lay out my vision of how we want to do things. And this year our big push was not only getting kids to the second level, post-secondary, not just on athletic sides of getting them scholarships that way, but making sure academically that we're doing everything in our power to make sure our kids have scholarships or can apply for the Hope or, the Tennessee Promise or whatever that might be. And I think Smith County does one of the best jobs around, not to just toot our own horn, but we really focus on helping the kids, not only after the sports season and everything we have things in place where they can get tutoring, they can do remediation where they can make up assignments, if they get a little bit behind and stuff like that. So we have things in place that benefit our kids, not only athletic-wise, but academically wise, just to help them push through and to get them the help they need, because being a student athlete is very demanding, not only on the athletic side, but the academic side as well.
Nick, when you look at the potential, I guess is what we're going to look at for Owl football, there are lots of people, and the guy even brought it up on the telecast last week on Channel 30, that he felt like that Smith County and East Robertson, along with Marion County and some other teams, had the potential to go to the Blue Cross Bowl. Of course, we know that the furthest that Smith County has ever gone in football is to the state semifinals on 3 occasions. I think that was 85, 2004, and 2006. 85 under Gary Rankin, the other 2 under Jimmy Maynard. When you look at, and I'm not trying to forecast the future, but still just to be mentioned with that has gotten you a lot of coverage. This week, 104.5 The Zone out of Nashville is coming to Owl Stadium to do that game on their, radio station.
Wow,
and that's
awesome.
That's quite an honor, something we've never had. Yes, we've had TV 30 there. Yes, we've had DTC TV there. We've got Upper Cumberland Reporter. So, to know that you're mentioned in the handful of teams that they think out of the eastern half of the bracket has got an opportunity to go to the Blue Cross Bowl is very exciting.
Yeah, so it's very exciting around here. Coach Dyer has done a fantastic job, and his assistants and his staff. They've got better every week, not only as coaches but as players. And I think Coach Dyer will tell you that as well. There's always room for improvement, and we've done a really good job of that. Coach Harville, he's done a fantastic job on the defensive side of the ball, and Coach Hackett has done a good job on the offensive side of the ball, and our lines have done really good. But, it's very exciting because, you've got all this, you're getting our kids out there. We want to promote our kids as much as possible. That was one of the things that when I became athletic director, I really wanted to focus on is promoting our kids as much as possible on social media, just getting us an identity of where we should be. And we're just super excited. There's a few factors, just as anything. We got to stay healthy. We got to make the deep run. We got to be in the tough games. And this Friday night is no exception to that. Upperman is a very talented team. They are, ranked one of the top ones up in their division too. So, it's going to be a great battle. It's going to be a close game. I think everybody's sort of excited about it. And that's why we're almost running out of room on top of the press box. I mean, I've actually made some signs up that I'm going to try to make sure everybody's got a spot to get our cameras on there and everything. So we're very excited about that.
Do you have a weight limit as to who can get up there and who cannot?
I'm sure there is, but we're just going to try to cross our fingers and hold our breath a little bit and make sure of that.
Mr. Nick Bussell, we appreciate you visiting with us, the Smith County High School Athletic Director, and best of luck to the Owls in all sports the remainder of the season.
Thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it.
Doing a great job, Nick.
We'll look at the Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week. Let's get Murphy's Picks when we return to the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Do you ever worry about the safety of your home when you leave? Or at night while you're sleeping? Then give your home a professional security makeover with help from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. There's never been a better time to get started.
Contact us and start your home's DTC Security makeover today.
Community Wellness Clinic is a nurse practitioner-owned and operated full-service medical clinic. Our emphasis is on good health and wellness throughout every generation of your family. We strive to provide the expert quality of care that our patients deserve and expect. Along with primary care services, we also offer a full complement of urgent care services. Let us be your family's good health partner. Community Wellness Clinic in Woodbury. Phone 615-563-7515.
Near Star Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for Chief Geologist, General Mine Foreman, Mine Engineer, Graduate Mining Engineer, Electrical Superintendent, Mobile Superintendent, Mine Supervisor, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Near Star Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Welcome back here to the Box Score, final segment. Murph, we're going to look at our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week. Don't know that these two teams have met very much, but Giles County coming to Watertown, pretty good trip. Bobcats heading up I-65 to 840, I'm sure, and going to Watertown. Watertown has a great venue for a football game, and it's their Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week here on DTC 3.
Yeah, Giles County is a 3A school. That's we all know that, but they're down right on the Alabama line, surrounded by 4A schools and 1A schools, and I'm sure that if they were not in the same region, this game would have never materialized, but they are in the same region, and Watertown's rebuilding a little bit this year. They've had a really good senior class the last couple of years, and I look for that one to be a little one-sided. But with it being a homecoming game, I think it'll be might be an interesting contest to go see.
Of course, Watertown, if they after their loss to Sequatchie Murphy, they really need a win here and maybe get some help because their overall record's not going to be that great because they played such a tough non-region, against DeKalb and Lebanon and those type people. So, but still, if they could get an upset, they may could host a first-round playoff game.
And that's going to be one of those 2-hour drives from Pulaski to Watertown, maybe closer to 3. I don't know.
It's a long way. All right, Murph, let's get into the picks. Going to start in East Tennessee, Chattanooga, Notre Dame. at Boyd Buchanan, Gary Rankin welcoming in the Fighting Irish.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, in the first 6 games of the season, Boyd has 4 shutouts, and the Bucks only have 2 turnovers in those 6 games. A great defense wins a lot of games, said Coach Rankin when I talked to him back on a Tuesday morning of this week. I think the Bucks rule in that one pretty well, pretty easily.
Bradley Central at Farragut.
This is the best Bradley Central team that I've seen in quite some time. Farragut's got an uphill battle and has a chance to pull off the upset, but I just don't see that happening against an undefeated Bradley Central football team.
Who's already got a win over Marable.
That's true.
Alcoa at Knoxville West.
That's one I'd really like to go see. Alcoa is, I think, undoubtedly, again, the best 3A team in the state. Knoxville West won the 5A championship last year. I think I've got to go with Knoxville West in that one.
Okay, let's go ahead with the Middle Tennessee picks. Davidson Academy at Franklin Road Academy.
The coach at Franklin Road Academy, who was at Pope John Paul II for so many years, has done a great job with this FRA team. Davidson Academy always has a good club, but I think they're going to have their hands full against Franklin Road Academy. I'm going with Franklin Road in that one.
Cookeville at Gallatin. Cookeville has improved from the first year, but Gallatin got a huge win last week over Green Hill.
Yeah, both are 4-2 overall right now, but Gallatin's game ahead of the Cavaliers as far as regional one-loss records are concerned, and I'm going to go with the Green Wave in this one.
Wilson Central at Lebanon.
Well, Lebanon has kind of been up and down a little bit this year, winning some games that I thought they would lose and vice versa. This is another Wilson County rivalry. Should be a close one, but my money's on Lebanon to win that one.
West Tennessee picks. Murph, take it away.
All right, Riverside at Huntingdon both lost their season opener and have not lost since then. Neither team was really thought of very highly. Maybe Huntingdon was, certainly not Riverside as much as they are. This could be for the Region 6 2A title. Huntingdon's my pick on that in that one. On the turf.
Those are the 3 games.
Lausanne at St. George's, that'll be as bad as Lausanne wants to make it. St. George just doesn't have anything going for them at all. The Germantown at Whitehaven game, I think, will be a dandy. Germantown is still undefeated. Whitehaven has a couple of losses. Incidentally, the head coach at Germantown, Gene Robinson, is going to be the head coach of the West All-Star team in December up at Austin Peay. I'm going with Germantown in that one. And then Obion Central at Crockett County. Both teams started the season 4-0. Both have lost their last 2 games. This is a huge regional game, probably for the regional championship. And my heart's going with, I hate to say it, Obion Central. I think both of those coaches are great young men. But I think Obion Central, I think Coach Palmer will reach into his bag of tricks and come up with a winning game.
All right, Murph, we got some more local picks here for you to go through. Take it away.
Gordonsville, I said earlier, I think they'll beat the Forrest Rockets in that one. Upperman at Smith County. Boy, that's a tough one to call. Smith County's playing so well right now. Upperman is an extremely physical football team. I'll say the home field advantage goes to Smith County in that one. Cannon County at Cornersville. The Lions got a great taste of winning last week, and I think they'll keep that taste, still chewing on last week's win a little bit, if you will. Giles County, I think, will beat Watertown maybe as bad as they want. Giles County is just so fast. And then the Macon County at DeKalb, although, boy, that's a tough one. Those are 2 really good guys who are also really good football coaches. But I think Macon County, unless a miracle happens, you never know on the football field at the high school level, I think Macon County comes away with a nice road win there.
Murph, as we wind toward the playoffs and only 5 weeks of the regular season left, I know it's getting exciting because once you flip October and go to November, it's playoff time. And I know, we're getting to see who some of those teams are going to be.
Everybody says, not everybody, but a lot of people say once November rolls around, that's the best time of the year. Some are saying that because of the turkey, but the others are saying it because of one and done or win and advance.
We want to thank Justin Malden from Murphy Fair. I'm Terry Collins. Good night from the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.